Hi YouTube, Darth here. This is Over Your Shoulder, where I follow unsuspecting players and give what is usually unsolicited advice. Today I'm following alex698t, and from his stats you can see that we've got some work to do. From the look of things, Alex is not much of a vehicle user, almost exclusively plays Conquest, and definitely prefers the Assault and Recon classes. As I follow over Alex's shoulder today, I'll call out all the good things, bad things, and things I might do differently. So let's take a look over Alex's shoulder. Alright, we're finally on the ground with Alex. Let's take a look at what we've got rocking here. Looks like we got the AUG A3 with an ACOG, a laser sight, heavy barrel, and potato grip. This is not too uncommon from my own setup for the AUG. Personally, I probably would use a slightly longer range sight than the ACOG, but if he's a hardcore player, typically this might not be a bad setup to stay a little bit further back. And right here is somewhere where I might stay a little bit further back. Here's the Scourge of the Terrible Fences. Almost gets taken out by that guy. Looks like the Angel of Death had the Angel of Death finally catch up with him. Anyways, catches another guy right there. He turned off the laser smartly. Whenever you have a large cloud of smoke sort of obscuring you, you don't want to give yourself away by sticking a laser out in the middle of it and having every enemy shoot at you. Managed to catch that guy with a combination of aim down sight and hip fire. Enemies haven't caught on to him yet, so this might not be a bad spot to be. Oh, and no one finally catches him. Back on the ground, got caught by an enemy there, sticking your hand in the cookie jar a little bit too long. This Delta Bravo corridor is not a bad place here on this map if you want a lot of infantry action. The AUG probably wouldn't be my weapon of choice here. I'd probably pick something with a little bit higher rate of fire if I might have all these close encounters just like this. Manages to take that guy out, gets killed himself from another enemy. Immediately spawns into a storm. Risky pickup there, only got 28 off. Probably only a few hit points left. I'd throw that health pack right now if I could. Not sure how much crawling away is going to get you. Looks like we're almost dead. There it finally comes out. Probably sit here and wait and soak that all up. Game's pretty tight right now. Taking a look at the map, it looks like the Chinese team is in control. Gets run over by an assault. Right back into the fray. It looks like this building's coming down. Going for the revive on this gentleman. Picks him up with 56. Almost a full revive. Still pretty good. Whoa, out in the open here. Time to hide. Not sure if we were trying to get a flank off here or what we were doing. Going in circles now, trying to confuse the enemy. Not sure if that strategy is going to work out or not. Still out in the open. That is the end of that life. Switching it up a bit, we're making a run here at Echo. Alex is taking a long peek at this lane here. I'd probably be more worried about the respawns on this point than I would enemies that are turning around and coming back to it because you hadn't yet triggered this flag. Again, we're doing these long peeks down these lanes while we're sort of far away from cover. We're a little bit closer now, so we might be in better shape. Looks like a few enemies are showing up here. Manages to catch that guy with some help from friends. But as you can see, there's a lot of this aiming down sights while we're wide out in the open, which really just makes you a super easy target for anybody that's looking at you. And by the time you acquire them, they've already taken a few shots at you, and on hardcore, that probably means you're dead. Now, we died a bunch because we were a little over-aggressive in previous lives, and we're being a little bit careful now, but we still need to be a little bit more close to cover, particularly on hardcore. And right here at this corner, if somebody had been watching it, that would have been an easy 2 kills for them. Now we can see that the team is moving the Charlie capture, so I'd probably start worrying about respawns at this point. The staircase he's coming up right now is actually a pretty good vantage point, and I usually like to take a look from up here because I can catch a couple of players down below. And it looks like his teammates happened across a little cache of enemy goodies here, and takes those out one at a time, picks up his buddy. Good team play right there. And that's the correct order to do that in because you're safe and you can wait to pick up your friendly and instead deny the enemy a chance to drop on you while you're trying to pick them up. Surprise enemy around the corner, time to hip fire, goes for the ADS, kind of a risky move. He might have been killed by any other weapon in that point. He got lucky because his enemy was a recon with a sniper rifle in a hallway, which was a terrible idea for that recon. Now, we just had one enemy. I can expect that there's probably some more hanging around here, so I'd probably be looking at my map, and we can see that there's a few there. Another surprise enemy from around the corner does the correct hip fire, completely runs out of ammo. I don't know what's going on with the switch, and get to the secondary, and that is the end of his life. Completely panics in that moment, and it looks like his squad mate's coming in for the revive. So he gets picked up, but holy cow, switch to that secondary like you did just now. We saw that there was at least one more enemy here, so we should probably be careful depending on the minimap. We can hear there's some gunfire going on. Misses this guy entirely. Not enough communication between the squad members. So we got caught without doing a reload, and I think one of the things that I might advise on hardcore is while it's interesting to have ammo control, you probably want to reload more often than not. Yeah, you're going to run out of ammo faster, but there's always more kits around you could pick up. On Classic and Hardcore, I like to think of it like scavenger mode. If I run out of bullets, I just pick up the guy's kit that I killed. Probably a better idea to turn off that laser sight right now. You're going to give yourself away if any enemy sees you. You can see a couple of enemies up there in the corner. Gonna miss that guy entirely. It's a good thing that the enemy managed to not kill him off there, but the rocket does. It looks like the Chinese team is starting to pull ahead just a little bit. Better control of the map than the US team currently, about 80 tickets ahead. Currently doing a lot better control of that Alpha Charlie Echo corridor on Propaganda than the US team. Taking a look down this little aisle. Don't see anybody here. Oh, almost manages to get his head popped off by this guy in the rubble here. Going for a really risky revive without killing that guy back there. I would definitely have finished him off first. Almost gets killed by him instead. Really not sure why we peeled off of that. Must have figured that a teammate probably killed him. Yeah, if I don't see that enemy name come up in the kill feed, I generally start looking for bodies to shoot in the face. In that case, it looks like Alex was pretty lucky because the enemy couldn't aim. Looks like we see Echoes being capped. We're making our way towards it. A little bit out in the open here, otherwise sticking to cover. I'd probably be a little bit more careful here because you can always get that traffic coming from Echo towards Delta. Probably should peek this a little bit more carefully. Have that laser on, probably would turn it off. We see at least one enemy and the RAR, and that's just too much. A lot of getting caught out in the open, and it's really costing Alex quite a bit. There's a lot of times where if he had just stuck a little bit closer to the wall, or perhaps some kind of cover rather than rushing out in the open and trying to aim down sight, he might have lived. But as it goes, we are doing a good job of trying to stick onto points that the enemies are at. So decent play in the objective, decent team play here, constantly rezzing friendlies. You want to be careful about other enemies that might be around, because dead bodies are your #1 indicator that there are enemies around. And if you can manage to take a peek at the map every now and again, it's not a bad idea. Lots of enemies downrange. You need to turn off that laser, otherwise it's just a big beacon. And again, I probably wouldn't have rezzed that guy from outside of cover. You can stick inside cover and be just fine. Another thing I'm seeing him do here is he's constantly pointing his face at the body. Instead of pointing your face at the body when you're reviving somebody, you can simply just point forward and res him as normal. And just to reiterate that point, if you're trying to res a friendly, don't need to look directly at him. You can do it straightforward. Almost misses this guy. Would have been better to aim down sight. Oh, he's in real trouble now. He's going to take one out, but that's going to be it. So I'm generally a fan of the AUG, but if you're not good at being able to determine when you should hip fire and when you shouldn't, I probably wouldn't use it very often. Managed to get taken out there by somebody from behind. Not good spotting on his teammate's part. Returns to action, back in the trailer. See a couple of dead friendlies here, picking one up. Might actually go with some quicker revives there because I don't necessarily know what's nearby. He could have just as easily been caught in the middle of that charge by an enemy charging into the trailer. Given that Charlie's in enemy hands, I probably would have peeked this a little bit more carefully. He's spotted now, and he peeks the wrong corner and gets killed. Chinese team still managing to hold on to this. Was that a blue body right there? No, that's friendly. Surprising. Got one behind us. Probably wouldn't be thinking about the res right now. Probably be thinking about that enemy. So, reses, great. Full reses, even better. Reses while there are enemies right next to you. Might want to hold off on that just a little bit. Looks like we switched up our weapon, possibly the M416. Yes, it is. We got the PKA, green laser sight, heavy barrel, and a vertical grip. Oh, I don't know about that vertical grip on this, but if you're doing a lot of shooting on the move, maybe this is the setup for you, although it seems very strange with the PKA. Looks like wigging out a little bit here. Some good burst fire there. My preferred setup for the M416, especially if you're going to go a little bit longer range like that, is an angled grip. So it looks like we're falling a little bit behind here. Good job there on the hip fire finally. Good order for actually doing the revive. Didn't pull out the revive too early there. Drop some health. I'd probably stick a little bit closer to that edge so you could get a little bit more back and forth if you need to. If there had been somebody here, you would have been out in the open again. Taking a look at the tabletop here. We got a couple around us. Managed to take that guy out. Be careful here. No, don't know what happened there. Probably just ran out of ammo. Back here again. This is a really strange setup for the M416, I've got to admit. You got a long-range sight, long-range barrel, short-range vertical grip, and a green laser. I'm kind of confused. Again, we're out in the open and we get shot down. So, probably could use a little bit more time here. Looks like we switched back to the AUG, just wasn't getting it done with the M416. Probably a little bit better setup for long range. Let's see what we're working on here. We've got the auto fire on. Yep, same setup as we had before. Looks like we're running the grenade perk because we've got 2 grenades. I don't think I've seen him use one yet. A little bit of sidearm action there. Not sure where this guy went. Trying to hunt him down a little bit. Apparently right behind. You got to slice that pie. So if you're chasing somebody down like Alex just was, you want to make sure that you're looking at every corner that they could be when they're running away from you, because they could always duck out of the way and surprise you like that. Taking a look at the game situation, it looks like the Chinese team is still in command here. I really would have turned off that laser, because right now anybody that looks at this little window is going to be able to see him there. Drop some health for a teammate. A couple of guys coming out of the alleyway need to get out of the open. This is a good intuition here coming up the stairs. I probably would use that stairs as a better vantage point here rather than just trying to catch them as they come around the corner, because I know you're here. Dangerous peek. Manages to catch one, but the rest just gun them down. Okay, back up in the upstairs of this. Got the tank doing some good work. Really good job playing the objective. Terrible job covering his own ass. Fire there from the right side. Again, not really in cover. Probably would have stuck a little bit closer to the middle. Back up, pretty much same position in Charlie. Not really a whole lot of reason to worry about other points on this map right now, because the enemy team seems to be pretty happy bringing it to you, and there that laser gets him killed. Looks like it got picked up by a teammate, so hooray for teammates. Again, turn off that laser if you're not in close quarters. If you're aiming down sight and you have your laser on, something should register in your head where you should turn your laser off. I'm going to really beat this drum as hard as I can. Turn the laser off just like you should have turned the flashlight off if a Tyrannosaur was outside your car. There's really no need to be waving that thing around if it's not giving you any benefit. And we've seen a few examples where it's gotten him killed. Doing some pushing back towards the base here, looking for that enemy that might be on the point. Not finding him right now. This is where I would be looking at my in-game map and trying to figure out what's going on. I realize we don't have a mini-map, but we do have an in-game map that you can still bring up even in hardcore. Not a lot of people seem to know that. Taking a look at the tabletop, yeah, we got lots still coming up. One came up the stairs, knocked him out. So we got picked back up though. So, yeah. Taking a look at the situation we got on the ammo, oh, we are good to go. Yeah. Again, that laser is just giving him away and making him a big target. You can see that that guy behind the crates was shooting at him. Probably not a wise idea to peek the same way again, so we're coming out the other side. Again, just too far away from the wall. Like, this is an invitation for enemies to shoot you right now. Like, you get just about as good a shot from over here on the wall. It looks like we're getting a little bit of lag there. No need to drop a second med kit, but I suppose it's a good instinct to have. Finally turns off that laser, thank goodness. Coming over here on the side route. Only a few tickets left for the US team. It looks like the Chinese team has pretty much rolled them the whole time. Managed to catch this guy right here. Probably would have aimed, not aimed on sight, but rather hip-fired. Might as well pick up this MGL. You can do a lot of damage with this thing on hardcore. Even on normal, it's pretty good. This is like one of the few battle pickups that's actually in a decent spot in the game. For comparison, think about all the times you've seen an USAS or an MGL 100,000 miles away from anybody. I think there's an USAS with exploding rounds on Launcher Strike, and every time I pick it up, I think, why? Making our way towards the center here, nothing really left. This is where I'd be hunting for those last few targets, maybe try to stay safe, not get killed at the end. See one right here again. Oh, gets taken out, should have hip fired, would have had him no problem, and that is the end of the round. So Alex is definitely a team player, as he got a quarter of the revives on his team in that round and helped capture a fair number of flags. However, there were a lot of things that Alex could be doing to stay alive quite a bit longer. Firstly, sticking closer to cover when peeking around corners would have saved him a few times. Secondly, that laser sight on the AUG acts as a beacon at long range. Turn that off, especially if you're taking long range shots. And one more thing that probably would have preserved Alex a bit longer is to play a bit more cautiously, especially earlier on. As for the revives, the quantity was great, the quality was great, especially because it was a full charge each time, but maybe work on the timing of the revive when enemies are near. As I pointed out, no need to look directly at the body, you can keep your head up and simply revive looking straight forward. Now, if you're going to use a weapon like the AUG, and it's a bullpup weapon, I would suggest learning when to hipfire and when to aim down sights. There were a lot of times when Alex would aim down sights when he should have hipfired. The time required to ADS got him killed more than once. So definitely something to practice. Overall, I think some simple changes would go a long way. That's it for this episode of Over Your Shoulder. If you'd like to be featured in a future episode, be sure to get in touch with me with the contact information in the description below. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time, YouTube.